Chapter 8, Section 4 is about multiplying polynomials, but special cases. Same learning target as the past couple days. We still want you to be able to simplify polynomials using multiplication, including that distributive property that we call FOIL. Okay, so the first special case for today is finding the square of a binomial. So if they give you something like this, x plus 4 to the second power, or x plus 4 squared, or x minus 3 squared. Okay, the trick to that, you are welcome to write it out as x plus 4 times x plus 4 and use your FOIL, or if you just know that the square is going to be a square of the first term plus twice the product of the two terms and then plus the square of the last term. And I'll show you what that means, but let's break it down right here first. Let's try this one. X plus 4 to the second power will be the same as the square of the first term. Okay, so here's our first term. We're going to write the square of that. Plus twice the product of the two terms. Okay, these are our two terms, the 4 and the 1 here. So 4 times 1 is 4, and twice that is 8x. And then plus the square of the last term. So we're going to take this 4 and square it, which gives me 16, and that's exactly what they have here. Okay, so that's a nice easy way to do it without having to write out a lot of work. Okay, so let's practice that. The first one says x plus 8 all to the second term. So we are first going to take the square of the first term, plus we're going to multiply 8 and x. So 8 times x is 8x, and then times 2, so 16x. And then we're going to square this last term, which gives us 64. Okay, down here at the bottom, same idea, only this time we have a number, a coefficient in front of the m. So you'll see how that changes this. First we need to take the square of the first term. 2m squared is 4m to the second power. Plus, we need to multiply 2m times a negative 3, which is negative 6m, and then times 2. So negative 12m, which really can also be written as just minus 12m. I think that's probably a better way to do it. Okay, and then we need the square of the last term. So negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. All right, here's a good place for you to pause. Try it out on your own. Come back and make sure that your answers match mine. All right, welcome back. The first one, you should have n squared minus 14n plus 49. And the second one, we have 4x to the second power plus 36x plus 81. All right, let's try this with a word problem. A square patio is surrounded by a brick walkway as shown. What is the area of the walkway? So we're only looking for the area of the brownish, this dark brown, maybe reddish color. Okay, the actual walkway. All right, so what I would do if these were just shapes, if we weren't thinking of this as a patio, and I'm looking for just the area of that frame, and we know these are both squares, I'm going to take the area of the big square, and I'm going to subtract the area of that small square, and that should give me just that frame part that's left. Okay, so when I'm finding the area of the big one, each side is x plus 6, so I have x plus 6 to the second power, since a square is just a side times itself. All right, that is going to be, when we're following our rules, we take the square of the first, multiply the 2 on the inside, and then times 2, so plus 12x. And then the square of the second is 36. Okay, so there's the area of the big square. Then that little square on the inside, they're saying is just x feet. That's one side. So I should just be able to do x to the second power. Okay, so now if I subtract these, I already have them lined up. These two are going to cancel each other out, these x squareds. And I'll be left with 12x plus 36 feet squared. Okay, here's one for you to try. A company logo is a white square inside a red square. The side length of the white square is x plus 2. The side length of the red square is 3 times the side length of the white square. What is the area of the red part of the logo? Just that red outer rim. Okay, so again, we're going to find the area of the big red square. Red area. When I distribute this, I get 3x plus 6. Oh, we need to take that to the second power so that I can get the area of the red. Okay, so if I square the first term, I get 9x to the second power. Multiply 3x times 6, which is 18x, and then times 2, which gives me 36x. And then the last term to the second power is 36. Okay, so that is the area of the red square. Then the area of the white square is x plus 2 to the second power, which gives me x squared plus 4x plus 4. And now I need to subtract them to see what would be left if I took this white part away. Okay, so if I subtract these, okay, we're subtracting this one minus this one. Okay, so 36 minus 4 gives me 32. 36x minus 4x gives me 32x. And 9x squared minus 1x squared is 8x squared. That's the area of the red outline. Okay, now they're telling you to just use some mental math. We shouldn't have to write down too much. If you want to write them down at first, just so you remember the idea of what they're trying to show you, you can. But then they would like it if you could do some mental math. Okay, so they're asking, if they ask you for something like this, something that you would normally not be able to do in your head, this 39 to the second power, we want to write it as a square of a binomial. So what is 39 closest to? It's awfully close to 40. So they do 40 minus 1, which gives me 39 to the second power. Okay, then to follow the rules, we have to get the square of the first term, so 40 to the second power, and then multiply the two terms together, and then times 2, and then square the last term. Okay, well, 40 to the second power is 1600. 40 times 1 times 2 is 80, and 1 to the second power is 1. And then when I actually do this math, 1600 minus 80 plus 1, I get 1521. Okay, we're going to try that with these three numbers that they gave us. 85, we have an 80 and a 5. That's probably the easiest way to break that one down. Okay, so we have 80 plus 5 to the second power. Okay, so that would mean we have to do 80 to the second power plus 2 times 80 times 5. And then we need the second term to the second power, so 5 to the second power. All right, well, 80 to the second power, 6,400, plus 2 times 80 times 5 gives us 800, and 5 to the second power is 25, and when I add those all up, I get 7,225. Okay, 79 squared. You could do an 80 minus 1. I did 70 plus 9, all to the second power. Okay, so we'll have 70 to the second power plus 70 times 9 to the times 2, and then plus 9 to the second power. 70 to the second power is 4,900 plus 70 times 9 times 2 gives us 1,260 plus 9 to the second power is 81. And when I add all of those together, I get 6,241. Okay, with 403, it's totally up to you how you want to split that, but I did 400 plus 3. I want to run out of space here, but 400 plus 3 to the second power. So 400 to the second power is 160,000 plus 400 times 3 times 2, which is 2,400, plus 3 to the second power, which is 9. When I add all those together, I get 162,409. Okay, and the last new thing that we're going to work on is the product of a sum and a difference. Okay, so this time it looks the same. It looks similar, but they can't put the binomial to the second power because they're a little bit different. One of them has a plus, one of them has a minus. Okay, so when I'm finding the product of a sum and a difference, the same two terms is the difference of their squares. Okay, so that means I'm going to square each one of them and put a minus. Okay, so that I'm going to square the x, I'm going to square the 2, and I'm going to put a minus. And that's my final answer. All right, here's some practice. They're the same, everything is the same except our symbols, which means I'm going to square the first term. I'm going to square the second term, and I'm going to subtract them, which is going to leave me with x to the 6th minus 64. Okay, this is a good place for you to pause, try it on your own, and come back and check your answers. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to square the first term, square the second term, put a minus in between. Square the first term, square the second term, put a minus in between. Square the first term, square the second term, put a minus in between. All right, hopefully that's helpful. And just for one more little bit of practice, we're going to do a little bit more mental math. What if they give you something big, like 64 times 56, and they want you to do that in your head? Well, these are both 4 away from 60. The first one is 60 plus 4. The second one is 60 minus 4. So you would square the first term, square the second term, and subtract them for a final answer of 3,584. Okay, using mental math, 63 and 57 are both 3 away from 60. So I'm going to do 60 plus 3 and 60 minus 3, which means I'm going to square the first term, square the second term, and put a minus. 60 to the second power is 3,600. 3 to the second power is 9, and 3,600 minus 9 gives us 3,591. And to wrap it up, 42 and 38 are both 2 away from 40. So we're going to use 40 plus 2 and 40 minus 2. Okay, square the first one. So 40 to the second power, square the second one, put a minus. 40 times 40 is 1,600. 2 times 2 is 4. And when I subtract them, I get 1,596. All right, your assignment for 8.4 is on page 495, 10 through 16 evens, 17 through 19, 20 through 48 evens, number 50, and the lesson quiz.